Preview.
So, um, once again, thank you for checking out my channel. This is Gina Chimesi, Psychiatric APRN. Coming to you today from outside. It feels awesome to be here. Start before work, do a quick recording. So I do mental health education videos as well as self-improvement content and focusing on relationships, more so lately, more so on difficult, toxic relationships, as well as relationship in general, whether it is child, parent, siblings, work relationship, as well as intimate relationship issues. So today, as we get ready, getting close to back to school, I thought I'd do a quick video on how to decrease tension at home, how to decrease anxiety, and get our kids ready for school. So prepping our kids back to school, especially with the state of our environment lately, and especially when it comes to talking about school and what types of anxiety our kids from elementary, middle to high school, they hear a lot of stuff that's been going on. And I've been seeing a lot of children in practice lately, and they're just boiled up in anxiety. And as we get closer to school or reopening, what we are looking is uptaking behavior changes, uptaking sleep issues, uptaking a lot of more conflict at home, tension at home, especially with the preteens and teens with parents or caregivers or guardians. So at least we can start thinking about how to prep them, because kids thrive. They thrive more in environments that are predictable. Kids thrive on predictability, reliability of caregivers. That's what I talk about some videos of mine in the past about attachment. I'll do more videos on how attachment impacts kids and, talk about trauma relating to kids. So one of the things, predictability, when kids feel like their needs are not met, they feel neglected emotionally, physically, and all of that, it creates a lot of issues for them while they're growing up, as well as when they grow up, how they present or how they show up in the world overall. So it will be about 3 to 4 points in regards to getting ready. So of course, most parents or guardians are going back to school shopping. One of the things, number one, will be, we'll make a list first, because a lot of kids these days might have a lot of higher demands in regards to maybe what backpack to use, what kind of, other, headphones, things like that, even computers to use, phones, things like that. The debate about phones and age to have it, it's a big thing also. But lately, because of the state of our environment, again, a lot of us parents have found that maybe it's safer for them to have it just for safety reasons. But we have to really be monitoring those two. So that's a whole different recording. So making a list before going out shopping, making sure, this week will be a great week to tap into tax-free week. I'm here in Connecticut. It's tax-free week, so you can kind of have some savings there for back to school shopping. So make a list ahead, discuss it, come to agreement. Kids, they're just like we adults. They have their own anxieties and everything, just like we have. But sometimes because we think we are the adults, we want to shut them up. It's like, no, my way or the other way. But when we bring them on board, it just makes things a little more easier. More like a partnership with them. We can just squash kids and be like, oh no, we know better. No, have them as part of the conversation. That build that confidence too as they grow. Some of that didn't have that growing up. So it's really good to pass it along to know, like nurturing, partnership feeling. Of course, there's so gonna be rules, parents' ways, what they think, because we've been here a little longer than they have. But still considering their voices, considering that they matter, what they have or what they have to say matter, and coming to a middle ground is always important. So that will be one. Two also will be to organize some places in the home, whether one place or one station or two, three, depending on how many kids you have and how they get along. But having maybe one station, maybe around the dining area with no TV, a dining area maybe where the TV will not be, or if the TV, you're making a rule to turn the TV off those during homework hours. So really getting the kids excited and looking forward to going back to doing homework and things like that. So really preparing maybe like an area, such a dining room area for homework, getting their pencils, their crayons, their notepads, their electronics, everything organized. They get them excited. Get maybe a calendar. Sometimes I'm old-fashioned. I'll get, old school big calendar, mark all the activities on it. Or sometimes I use my phone too as backup, just so I can set alarms and stuff for all the different days that they have activities. So it's all planned out. I love planning. I'm very flexible when we have to pivot here and there because of changes. But I also like my self-predictability, also knowing ahead how the weeks and days are going to look for each child. Most people have more than one child. So a lot of times it helps to have that mindset. So you also as a parent, you're not overwhelmed, stressed, irritable, and more like, So organizing a place, you can go to a dollar store, get a container, organize all their pencils, their crayons, whatnot in an area, get them excited about school and homework and all of that, get them their books, on the tables and all of that stuff. Third will be getting like a backpack area right at the exit area. So getting like hooks. I'll show you how I did mine. It's very simple, 2, 3, or 4 hooks, depending on how many kids. You can make it exciting by maybe putting their pictures with their names on top of each hook. So each child, they're not fighting about, oh, this is my hook. No, that's mine. And then that gets into a whole different fight. Mommy, daddy, Jackie's taking my hook. So that, get them organized so they can put their backpacks the night before, their shoes, their lunch boxes, their water bottles right there. But the thing is, sometimes they can start the first week or 2 or 3, and then it just gets off. But really, also as a guardian, as a parent, we have to encourage the behaviors to continue all through the school year so you can have a great, successful, hopefully anxiety-free, some anxiety, but controlled chaotic anxiety more than not. So having a backpack area, just a hook, if you can get maybe like an organized cabinet under each hook to stuff the backpack in there and stuff like that's fine. If not, you can just put it right underneath it. So those are the main 3 that I have been doing. I seem to be working. Last one, which is a bonus, will be, kids love snack, especially they come back from school lunch. They always go, it's sad. School lunch was not great. Either you give them lunch for them to take with them. Sometimes I do that every now and then, not all the time. Some days I allow them to have lunch at school, but also having snacks right there when their homework areas, so they can look forward to. And some of this stuff, when you get your littler ones, like your elementary kids starting first, sometimes the preteens, teens, they can get moody about some of this stuff. They're like, I don't need that. I'm just going to stay in my room. I'm going to do it in my room. And when they see it and they see the little one doing it, usually they will join in. So join them in. Because sometimes as parents, we want to force those older kids, do it. And it becomes like a tug of war, depending on personality to a parent, personality of child, you don't get always batting heads. Sometimes it's inevitable. You have to put your foot down with them, but sometimes it becomes a little tricky where you might have to back down a little bit as a parent because, raising kids here, it's a little bit different from how we were raised back home, as well as also the discipline can be a little different. So, especially we parents who are immigrants, raising first generation kids, we have to be mindful to maybe sometimes try to tone it down a little bit because the kids they mingle with here, might not necessarily be experiencing the same type of tension or like forceful ways that we were raised with. And also depending on parental trauma and what they were exposed to and whatever level of healing they've already been doing to be able to be more of an enlightened parent. So check my videos for other, topics such as being an enlightened parent, being an enlightened partner, and, how to deal with a little bit of a less enlightened partner or parent. And so we can give our children more of us a little bit of a softer, structured upbringing. So that will be it for my video today. Like I always say, if you whip it in your mind, you can whip it everywhere else in your life, as also in your kids' school life. So as you get ready, get all the stuff on the calendar, conferences, meetings, staff meetings, all of that organized on the calendar ahead of time. Lunches, planning your lunch even a week ahead with you yourself, if you're a working mom like me, and planning lunches and snacks for the kids ahead of time. At least having a general idea and pivoting and swaying. It's like almost like a dance, you got to do that dance, back and forth thing with the kids and everybody else involved in raising the kids, because it takes a village sometimes. Well, a lot of time, not so much lately in this part, especially if you're, whether you're a single parent or whatnot, it can be a little different from how things were maybe a few years back. As we raise kids, sometimes it can be a little more smaller niched. So, okay, I'll catch you in my next video. I wish you all guys a good start of the school year, wishing all those kiddos good, great, blessed school year. And don't forget to pray over your kids, mention their names even before school starts in your prayer in the morning. Manifest some great stuff for their lives. There's power in prayer. There's power in higher powers. Protect them wherever they will be, in their schools, in the cafeterias, protect them against bullies, against, shootings. Listen, we always act like we are in a bubble. It never happens. But for me these days, I just feel like anything impossible. I pray in the morning, call my children's names, pray in my prayer in the mornings. I pray before I go to bed with them. We say a prayer. Prayer goes a long way, knowing that there's a higher power that's watching over us and over our children. They're so vulnerable. It lessens our anxiety to know that we cannot physically be able to do it all for them, but we know that there's a God that's watching over them as well, and their foot will step in the right places even as they get ready to go back to school. And even as parents having some anxiety about what ifs, and the what ifs, would they be okay? But we know that we have a God, and they will be okay, and we will be okay too. All right, I'll catch you at the next video. Drop me a comment, drop me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Let's promote mental health. Let's make it an everyday part of our conversation with our children at the dinner table, at the breakfast table. And let's keep this movement going. Ciao. I love you guys for supporting this, and I'll catch you at the next video. Be great out there.